Family, what's going on? It's your boy Chris Mills, and welcome to the Unlock Your Genius podcast. Well, right here we want to highlight and showcase the talent in Tampa Bay and surrounding areas. Tonight, we have a very special guest with me. We have the great Colony Reeves. Now, if you guys have been under a rock, then you might not know who this is. But if you're in tune with what's going on in the world, then you definitely know who this is. You know what I mean? Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, hey everybody, I'm Colony Reeves. You can find me on the hit Netflix show, Selling Tampa.
Hit.
It is a hit. We went number one the first week, and hey, we got a hit. I'm proud of it.
Awesome. Man, you're doing great things, Colony, with the show.
Thank you.
And I already know it's blowing up, it's going crazy. What's your social media looking like?
Oh my God, my Instagram is crazy. It really, I think overnight, we were kind of watching it, just the followers have gone up.
Just go.
Seriously.
Are you literally like watching the phone and the followers just going?
Yes.
Do?
Every time I open my Instagram, it's new notifications. It's crazy. The love has been amazing. Like I'm really overwhelmed because I'm getting so much positive feedback, so much positive energy, and I feed off of that. So I'm really appreciative of it.
That's dope. Did you get to a point where you had to turn the notifications off? You had on the phone and just shut it like, oh, it's too much. Like ding.
Well, I never had notifications anyways.
Yeah.
Before all of this, I don't like notifications. I don't like to be too plugged into social media. So I never had my notifications on. But every time I open my app, it's going crazy.
Right. So right here on the podcast, we want to highlight what's going on currently in Colony's career. You know, we know you're a realtor. We know that you on the show. How'd you get into the real estate? How'd you get on the show? What made you want to be a realtor?
Well, we can start with how I became a realtor. So I went through a depression. A lot of people don't even know that. But I really went through a dark place where I just didn't even know what I wanted to do. I went to school. I graduated from USF. And after going to school, I was kind of working with my dad for a little bit. And I'm like, okay, I'm just not fulfilled. Like, what do I want to do? My dad decided, his wife is a teacher. So he's like, you know what? Try to go be a teacher. I can kind of link you with this school and just test it out and see if this is something that you want to do. So I started working as like an assistant teacher and teaching like little preschoolers, pre-K. And it was cool. I love kids. So that was like one thing that's really close to my heart is kids.
Right.
But I wasn't fulfilled. I hated going there every day. I wasn't making enough money.
Waking up early.
We already know teachers don't make enough as it is, and my hat goes off to them. But I just wasn't making enough. And I'm like, you know what? Like, this isn't it. So I went to my parents crying. I remember I cried for 3 days straight. I've never felt like that before. Just dark, 3 days straight.
And what age were you right here?
What was I, like 26? Maybe? I was like 26-ish. So that's a pivotal time in your life. You're like, I need to figure this out. I don't know what I want to do.
Yeah.
So, literally crying, depressed, like, all right, I'm bad. I'm like, I don't have nothing. Like, no money. I don't have no skills for real. Like, what am I going to do in my life? And so I went crying to my parents. And, you know, that's embarrassing. You don't want to go. You want to be the person that your parents raised you to be. So for me to go back to them and be like, look, y'all, I need some help. I don't know what I want to do. That was a lot for me. So my dad, he's always kind of dabbled in real estate. He's always kind of bought and held property as an investor. So he's like, you know what? Try real estate. You good at talking to people. You from Tampa, so you know people. My dad owns a company. He's been in business 20 plus years.
Oh, dope.
So he's like, I got a network of people. Go to real estate school. I'm gonna pay for it. I just want you to get your mind right. Just focus on that and don't worry about nothing else.
Right.
So I put all my energy into that, cut out everything else, and literally, I haven't looked back.
Boom.
I mean, I'm here now. It was the best decision I think that my dad could have even gave me, and for me to take it serious and do it paid off.
That's dope. So let me take it back real quick, right? So you mentioned that you wanted to be, you know, the person that our parents raised us to be and everything like that. Because I knew that coming up in school, I was always getting A's and B's. You know, if I even brought home a C, there was a big problem in the household. You know, so they had high expectations. So it's like once you get to high school and you get out of high school, you know, was college something that was mandatory in your household, or was it something to where they said go if you want to, but it's not mandatory?
For me, I felt like if I would have told my parents I didn't want to go to college, they would have been disappointed, but they would have been okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't something like you gotta do this, you gotta do this. I wanted to go to college because, to be honest, I wanted to get out of my parents' house. I wanted to go away to school. I'm like, I want to get out of Tampa. Like, I just don't want to be here anymore. So that was my driving force. So that's why I wanted to go to college. I started at FAMU. And then I finished at U. I know, shout out to FAMU,
to the Rattlers. Yeah, for sure.
But I graduated from USF. I finished with the Bulls. But that was like so college was like cool, but I'm like, I want to get out. I just want to experience new things. So that's really, I was hard on myself to go to college. I don't even think it was really, my parents just wanted me to be successful.
Right.
Whatever that looked like.
Right.
So.
And how was it growing up in your hometown? I mean, where you from?
I'm from Tampa.
Oh, okay. I just making sure.
Y'all see
I just making sure.
Team.
Home team, you already know.
Yeah,
Tampa based.
it's my city. I mean, my parents, I was very sheltered. I'm not gonna lie. My parents didn't really let me do anything.
Kept you away.
They kept me in the house.
Don't go to this area, cross Fletcher.
Nothing. We stayed like in town and country, like out.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't really do a lot, and my parents had put me in modeling young. So that's when kids were like playing outside. I was like going on auditions, modeling, pageants, and stuff like that.
That's where the walk on the show come from.
That's what. And people think, oh, she doing that for the show. No, that's literally.
That's
like
how I do that. Yeah.
I've been like that all my life.
That's dope.
So, but Tampa is, I mean, beautiful. Like, just how you guys see it on the show, that's really how Tampa is.
Yeah.
Beautiful beaches. Like, on the weekends, we would go to the beach. We would have barbecues. Like, Tampa is Tampa. I love Tampa.
That's dope. All right, so let's go ahead and let's get into the actual real estate part. So I heard you say that your dad had his own company, his own business for 20 years. And we know, like, a lot of people say that they want to get into real estate, right? But let's be honest, that's like somebody saying, oh, I want to learn a different language.
Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's so many different avenues in real estate that you can go down. So what business in real estate did your dad have for 20 years?
No, so actually, my dad owns a plumbing company. He's been in business 20 plus years.
Yes.
So he always had that entrepreneurial spirit. Like, so that's all we knew was my dad got his own business. That's all I saw growing up was entrepreneurship. But he took it a step outside his business and started buying real estate. So he was basically buying and holding property, so buying it and renting it out.
Right.
So and he was doing that for years. So just seeing him do that, I'm like, okay, he's making passive income. I want to do that too.
Now, you was watching him, or was he showing you, or you was just kind of like seeing what he was?
Just seeing it. He never really was like, this is how you do it, this is how you do it. I just always was around it. And then it's not until I got, older in my 20s to where I really was like, okay, he is really doing, this is how he's making his money for real. We just know, okay, Dad working, but this is really how he's making his money.
Right.
So, yeah.
So I'm trying to see the transition between, where your first job was, and then, okay, I know your dad wanted you to get into real estate, but what made you like dive in foot first, head first, into real estate? And what was your first job? Like, what was that
first job ever, in life?
Yeah.
Oh,
people want to know your first job. Everybody had the grocery store, bagging groceries, working the drive-through at McDonald's. Me, I worked in retail at University Mall for 6 years since I graduated. What's that first job?
My first job was TJ Maxx.
There it is.
And I was 15. I had to get permission. I always wanted to work. That was one thing about me.
Oh, really?
Like, as soon as I turned 15, I'm like, okay, let me get my parents' permission. I remember they had to go there and sign that I could work because I was like slightly underage. You have to be 16. But I started at 15 at TJ Maxx, and my parents were taking care of me. We never wanted for anything. Like, I had both my parents in the household. My dad was a breadwinner. We were good. But I always wanted my own money. I'm like, the moment I can start working, I'm gonna work because I need pocket money.
Right.
So my extracurricular activities was literally going on auditions, modeling, photo shoots.
Yeah.
That was my thing. My mom started me in that when I was 5, and so
So then, after high school, did you look at any agencies or try to find a modeling agent where you can get out there and start auditioning and doing different things?
Yeah, I did. So I modeled like throughout college. I was still modeling, just different gigs here and there. And I got with the agency in Miami, so that's where I did a lot of work. So yeah, I kind of dabbled into modeling up until I took real estate serious.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, bet. All right, so now at the part where you took real estate serious. So did you pass the test on your first try? Everybody wants to know that. You passed the test on your first try?
No, realistically, I mean, I think some people do. My hat's off to y'all.
Yeah.
But I mean, that test is no joke. It's really not.
It's harder than the SAT, really.
Yeah.
And the ACT.
Yeah, it's a hard test. I think that test is designed for people who have tenacity.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't fail or if you don't pass the first time, I think that's how they weed out the people who not gonna make it.
Who really want it. Yeah.
Like, if you really want it, you're gonna go back. You're gonna keep taking it until you pass. Mm-hmm. So, no, I didn't pass on my first try, but what matters is I passed.
What matters is I passed. So anybody out there who's looking to get your real estate license, and you know you studying hard and you studying for weeks, and then you take the test and they send you that, you know, you get that fail, you turn the paper over and it say fail. Yeah. She telling you, I ain't passed on my first time, and look at where I am today. Tenacity, keep taking the test over and over and over. That's good.
You have to.
So when they turned my paper over and I seen pass, I was ready to go find a broker like the same day.
Yeah.
But it was on the weekend, so you know it was Friday. So where did you go first? Because we all here, once we get our license, we hear Keller Williams, Century 21, Remax. Where did your license lead you to? Where did you want to take your license when you first passed?
Well, I did my due diligence. If you are looking to get into the real estate industry, just know as soon as you pass, or even before you pass, because I think when I passed the class, I was getting mailers from a lot of different brokerages wanting me to come over there. So just know that this is your opportunity to interview the brokerages. It's almost like a flip or like a reverse interview. You know how you go into a job interview and you're getting interviewed?
I'm getting interviewed, yeah. You
need to interview them. So I made sure that I looked at everyone who wrote me and I interviewed them and I picked the best fit. And I don't want to say what brokerage I went to just because I don't really,
that's cool.
Want to put their name out there. But I was at 2 different brokerages before I got to a Lord Realty.
Oh, okay. And when you started at those brokerages, because the test, people think just because they pass the test and they get the license that they're ready to go out there and do real estate. Not knowing that real estate is actually a people's business.
Yes.
And that, y'all in the housing business, but houses don't sell, they sell.
Thank you.
Like, we have to get into people. They got to trust us, like us, and we got to have a good name behind us. You get what I'm saying?
You said the right word, trust.
Right.
They have to trust you. You have to be trustworthy in this industry.
So when you went to your first brokerage, fresh out of school, fresh out of class, how did you get that first deal? Tell me about your first real estate deal.
My first real estate deal was family. Thank God. That's why I'm like, you know what? You really have to, and of course, if you're in a different city, it may be a little different. But I was blessed to be in a city that I was born and raised in. I have family here. So I thank God that my uncle gave me a shot. He's like, look, and it was a listing. That's rare. When you first get into real estate, you normally work with buyers.
Right.
I came out, I had 2 listings. My first deal, I got 2 listings.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's rare.
Yeah, it was very rare. And I screwed that up.
So you got the blessing and messed up the blessing.
Because I'm new, That's why I say real estate, just being transparent, real estate is on the job training. Yeah. You can take the test, you can go to the class, but there's no experience like being in the field, working with the people, because situations pop up, you don't know how to navigate that until you're in it. So I appreciate those hard transactions. I feel like I got all my hard transactions the moment I started real estate.
Got it out of the way.
God was like, look, let me just throw these at you so you can know how to prepare yourself for the future. So now I'm like, hit me with anything. Like, I've probably experienced everything in real estate. So, but yeah, my first 2 was my family. And my uncle wanted to sell his house, and then a family friend wanted to sell her townhome.
Dope.
Yeah.
So when it came to trust, the trust part of doing your first deal, you already had that because you went to your immediate circle.
I always say tap into your sphere of influence, whoever you know, because those are probably going to be your first deals. The person you see at the post office, your hair lady, anybody, even if you don't have family, think about people you see on the daily. Look, I'm a realtor, and that's what I did. My family didn't know off rip that I was a real estate agent. I text them, just passed my real estate exam. I'm licensed. Here's my card. Let me know if you want to buy, sell. I had to put myself out there. And you know, working with family, that's not always easy. Those probably the people who really gonna be looking at you like, don't F this up.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of pressure. But my family has always been supportive. So they were like, look, I'm gonna give you a shot. Why not?
Yeah, so mine was like backwards. My family, they didn't trust me because they knew me as Lil Pooh. You know what I mean? They know me as, little kid who be running around crying, and only child spoiled. You know what I mean? So when I came and told my grandma about the good news about, look, this real estate doing crazy. I'm 24 years old living in my grandparents' house. This real estate going crazy. She want to see first. She like, show me you could do it, then I'll let you play with my house. So thank God that you had family that was willing to let you, I guess, practice on them right first.
Exactly. That's all you need is a shot. Like, if you keep, but you got to put yourself out there because they're not going to come to you. You have to be like, look, this is what I can do for you. Be assertive. If they have any inclination that they want to sell, jump on it. Jump on it. Go, okay, well, this is what I can do for you. Even if you don't know what you're doing, you have to kind of
act like
you know what you're doing, earn their trust, and then do it. So
Dope. All right, bet. So as far as doing your first deal, right? You did your first deal. You got it knocked out the way. Well, first two deals, right? You got them. You sold both of those.
Yes.
And
I helped them buy their house. They sold their home. They bought another one. So it was.
You
that's
started
like God is real, and it took a minute. Though. I'm not gonna say as soon as I got into real estate that happened. It took about, I think, a good 6 months before I got that deal. So it didn't happen just overnight. Sometimes it happens. Some people are blessed like that overnight. It took me about 6 months of really marketing, putting myself out there, reminding my family, friends, hey, and when they were ready, they went to me. So.
And now, was you going to other seminars in the city? Were you going to meetups, or like how were you really putting yourself out there when you say marketing? Like how was you putting yourself out there?
Right. So I was doing social media marketing. Okay. I was also doing. Tampa used to be heavy with the networking events. COVID kind of took that out a little bit. I think they're starting back up now. But prior to COVID, Tampa had like the best networking events. Like I would be hitting networking events like every week.
Right. Just
getting my name out there. Going to just networking, meeting people. Yeah.
Dope. All right, so then so you're doing your thing with your first brokerage, and then you move to another brokerage. So how did you find your broker who you're with now, Sherelle?
So then I moved to my second brokerage. And I think when I moved to my second brokerage, I feel like that's kind of during the time where I met you.
Oh, okay.
When I moved to the second brokerage, because you were doing your classes, I would come to some of your classes. I was networking too, coming to some of your classes, just like-minded people.
Right.
So, that was really helpful as well.
Dope.
But, so at my second brokerage, everything was fine. That's really when I was like kind of doing my thing in real estate. Like I found my tempo there. I was good.
You're feeling yourself.
I was feeling myself.
I'm here. I have arrived.
I know what I'm doing now. Like I was comfortable.
Yeah.
And then I met Sherelle through a mutual friend. And Sherelle had always followed me on Instagram because she kind of saw, okay, there's another girl in the real estate industry kind of doing her thing. So we always was kind of like social media friends. And then we finally met in person, and she told me, she's like, well, I'm starting my own brokerage. She told me her vision, I want it to be, all black, obviously minority owned.
For sure.
And I'm just trying to do something different in Tampa. I want to shake them up a little bit.
Yeah.
And at the time, I'm like, you know what? That fits me because I was kind of comfortable at my other brokerage, and I was looking for something new. And I wanted to be where I was celebrated. Okay, this is somebody who looks like me doing this, and she's tapping into the luxury industry, which I hadn't really tapped into yet. I wanted to go. That was like the next level. Okay, I need to get into luxury real estate. So, excuse me. So,
she ain't started yet. You was her first agent, or how did that? What did it look like in the beginning? Because all people just see is now,
right?
You know what I mean, but they don't know when the door opened day one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So kind of talk about that.
We literally, I guess if you will, started from the bottom. We had our small little office, still in Ybor. We always started in Ybor. We had a smaller office, and it was just me. And if you guys watched the show, it was me, Rena, and Alexis were like the first few that came. So it was like us rocking out for a little bit, and then the other ladies came. So she started off really small. It was only about 3 of us.
About 3 you guys in there. Dope. So let's talk about how agents transition from doing, regular single family homes and, homes in our neighborhoods and friends' neighborhoods that, that we're familiar with till, okay, now we're doing multi-million-dollar homes. And now it's a different clientele, might be a different conversation, and definitely a different meetup spots to where you find these clients. So talk about the transition and how different it was from finding clients of this phase of my real estate career, and now I'm in this phase of my real estate career, so I gotta change up the game and do something different. What was that transition like?
So it's really being in the right places. So I think the recipe is the same. It's just how you kind of execute it.
Right.
So it's still the basic fundamentals. You still want to tap into your sphere of influence, but as you continue to grow, you're meeting different people. So you still want to remain top of the list. You still want to market yourself, so then you start putting more dollars into your marketing, making your marketing look more appealing to that luxury buyer. So it's the same basic fundamentals, you just elevate it. So I took what I had already learned, what I was already doing, and just applied it to my new space.
Right. And now for women, women always dressing up nice and got the heels on and doing their thing. So that probably never changed from the first phase to the second phase, correct?
Correct. You always want to look the part. I don't even think just for women, even as men, if you're trying to get into the luxury industry, you have to look the part. You have to make sure you're dressed. People want to work with people they can trust, and unfortunately, they trust you based off of how you look. Like first impressions are everything.
Right.
So if you can't make that good first impression, you knock your chances down to a 50% chance. Because now it's like, I don't know which way I'm gonna go with this person.
Right.
So you definitely wanna look the part.
Right. So I've had students who've said, man, like I want to get into the luxury real estate market, man, but I'm not a girl. So do you think that girls have an advantage over men when it comes to tapping into that luxury market just because of whatever? Do you think there's a
I think that looks
disconnect?
It may be right initially, but I think looks can only get you so far.
Right.
Because I got my foot in the door because of the way I look, but once I open up my mouth, if I don't know what I'm talking about, that's out the door. You're not gonna be successful. Nobody's gonna want to work with you because looks is not gonna get you to the closing table.
Correct. You got to know at least a little bit what you're talking about.
You have to know about what you're talking about, especially when you're dealing with large values of money. If you're talking about luxury real estate, these checks are not small.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that you're providing a professional experience to this client, because they're just not going to trust you. So I feel like for men, I'm not going to be blind to like pretty privilege. I know that's a real thing. I don't ever want to like deny that. Just being real, but that only takes you so far.
Right. Okay, bet. So when it comes to like your highlight deal, every realtor or every investor has like their highlight moment in real estate. Like you will always remember that deal, that client, and that check. Sometimes. So what was a highlight moment that you can just remember off the top of your head? Like this was one of the best moments of my career, or best deal, or best client.
I mean, I've had some amazing deals, but I think I'm gonna take it to a personal deal. It's when I bought my first investment property. I think that was the highlight of my career, because now I'm finally able to do something that I've taught other people to do. So for me to go through the process myself, that was a big moment for me.
Don't just be a realtor, be an investor as well.
Be an investor. I mean, you helping everybody else invest.
You might as well buy too.
I need to buy too.
Yeah.
So that was a big moment for me. I was proud of myself.
That's dope. That's dope. You want to talk about the specs a little bit?
Of
Your first investment deal a little bit?
So what? I actually sold it recently.
Let's go!
Yeah.
Dang, it'll take you long, man. You sold it already?
Yeah. So
was it a fix and flip? You meant to do it like that?
Actually, it was. To be honest, the market was so good this year for sellers. I said I'm gonna go ahead and sell. But when I first bought it, the intention was to buy in whole. So I was renting it out Airbnb. And then I got busy with the show and just busy with real estate in general. And I'm like, okay, I don't know if I can really manage this.
Yeah.
And then I was dealing with a business partner and we kind of needed to go our separate ways anyways. The market was amazing. I'm like, let's go ahead and cut ties. So I'm happy I bought it because I was able to now make a profit out of it. So.
Dope. And do you still own property now or you just wanted to
I'm looking. I'm actively looking now. I need to buy my next one.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Look, any of you guys got deals out there? Shoot it over to Colony. She's a buyer, cash buyer. Looking for it. Cash buyer. I'm a cash buyer looking for it. We'll take finance, but we want cash buyer. Okay, so let's talk about the show. So Selling Tampa.
Yes.
Man, it's just so great to see our city
be
showcased like that.
I'm so proud.
Like with LA and New York and with Selling Sunset doing a thing. So we know about the whole spin-off, right? Selling Tampa going #1, not just as a TV series, but it was a #1 watched thing on the whole Netflix, right? Yeah. So talk about how the opportunity even came about for you guys' brokerage at Allure Realty to be showcased on Netflix.
So, Sherelle, I take my hats off to her because she really did have this vision, and to see her vision come to life, and for me to be a part of it is like really a blessing.
God.
But it started with marketing. She was like, "Okay, girls, we're gonna do these photo shoots," and people really never saw that before in Tampa. We would kill it on Instagram. We would have our matching outfits, and we would take our professional photo shoots, and people were seeing that. We were getting attention on social media. So we had already knew about Selling Sunset. I was a fan of Selling Sunset before I even knew it was going to be a Selling Tampa. I love Selling Sunset.
Watched it back to back to back.
It's
yeah,
good.
For sure. Yeah.
I love Selling Sunset. But long story short, we got approached by another producer, and they wanted to do a show for us. But it wasn't the right situation. We didn't really like how he wanted to portray our brokerage. That wasn't really what we wanted to do. So we're like, no, we're gonna wait. We got one producer. We could get somebody else. So then Sherelle started following the producers of Selling Sunset on social media. They saw her, followed back. I think she slid in, or maybe they slid in her DM. I think they wrote her like, hey.
All she had to do was say, boom,
she followed.
Get eyes on you. You gonna slide in my DM.
Yep.
And the opportunity gonna come to my people and my girls, and that's how it happened.
Fell in my lap. Through God, though.
So how hard was it to keep all of this under wraps from your family, from your friends? How was it? How hard was it to keep, like, while COVID is going on, everybody's shut down. You guys are making these big plans for this big release, like 2 years later.
Yeah.
How was it? How was that process of working and trying to keep everything on the
It was easy for me. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah.
I don't let people know my moves anyway.
Yeah.
I've always been that person. I always like to move in silence, and once you see it, you see it. It was easy for me to keep that a secret. First of all, because I knew how important it was. We can't talk about it. I'm not gonna be the one who's broadcasting it and then we blow it for everybody else. And then number one, I love to work hard in silence and then pop out and hey, this is what I've been working on.
So what's something that you like about the industry and something that you dislike about it? Because everything's not peaches and cream all the time. It's not just all roses, it's all beautiful. Instagram is full of highlights, TV is full of highlights. Talk about that.
Well, I think that you have to be okay with the word no or not right now sometimes in the real estate industry. You have to be okay with rejection. So I guess I would say that's a dislike, even though it kind of comes with it. I think that builds your character as well. So you can work with a client for for 6 months and never get a deal closed because it just didn't work out. So
right.
I think that's the pros and the cons.
Okay. And then also, while you're working, right, because every day you're still an active real estate agent, but now you have these cameras on you. Talk about the comfortability and, you know, having to still do your day-to-day job, but okay, I know I got this camera watching me. How's that like?
It came natural because, like I said, when I was 5, my mom put me in front of the camera. So I've never been camera shy. It is something new. I've never been on a reality show. So, of course, having these cameras in front of you 24/7, or not 24/7, but while you're working was like, okay, this is a little different. But it came natural. That's why I always say the ladies that are on the show, we were made for this because I think it came natural for all of us.
Right.
So I loved it. I enjoyed it.
Dope. Well, look, y'all, Selling Tampa is the #1 show on Netflix. If you haven't seen it already, then make sure you hurry up after this interview and go start streaming Selling Tampa immediately. Colony, I want to appreciate you for coming out. Do you have any words of wisdom to somebody who's looking at this podcast? They want to be a realtor. They want to be a TV personality. What kind of words of wisdom do you have for that person?
So I would say bet on yourself always. You can never lose when you bet on yourself. That's my motto. That's what I stand on. I was at a time where I went through my depression and I felt like I didn't have anything to give to the world. I was at a low point and I bet on myself. I took a chance. I said, I'm going to put my all into this. I don't know where the money going to come from, but if I put all my energy into this, it has to be reciprocated. So once you prepare and you do the work, you cannot fail. So just believe in yourself, literally. It'll happen. It will.
And how can people follow you? How can people support you? And if they want to use your professional services, like maybe someone's watching this and they're in the market, they're in New York, they're in Cali, they seeing you do your thing, they're like, man, I want to work with her and come move to Tampa and buy my luxury house in Tampa. How can people reach you and use your professional services?
So yes, all of my social media platforms are at Colony Reeves, COLONYREEVES. So you can find me on all social media platforms. I'm still a working realtor, so yes, I am still taking on clients. So you can book me on my website, colonyreeves.com, book a consultation, and yeah, I'm still working. A lot of people think that, okay, reality TV star now, I'm still a realtor. So.
I'm still a realtor. I do interviews, book me, but I'm still a realtor.
I'm still a realtor. That's still what I love to do. That's still my career.
Dope.
So.
Well, look, Colony, we appreciate you so much, man, and I'm sure everyone is inspired by what you're doing. Keep doing your thing.
Thank you.
Don't let up off the gas, not even one little bit. And, man, we look to hear a lot of good things from you in the future. I appreciate it. So, family, you seen it here. We have Colony Reeves, you know what I mean? Unlock Your Genius podcast. This episode 1, plenty more to come. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Hit that post notification button, and we'll catch you next time on Unlock Your Genius. And remember, knowledge is power.